Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Game Club. This time we're talking about Late Shift. I'm your host, Boston, playing on the Switch, joined as always by Moonpeer.
Come on, you know I'm going to be playing on that sweet Series X.
That's right. And Musum.
I went with PS4 because my wife and I played through it together.
Oh, nice. All right, let's get all the deets here out of the way before we begin. Game came out on April 18th, 2017, published by Wales Interactive, developed by Wales Interactive, and Control Movie, which is CTRL Movie, which is a really great studio name. Came out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, PC, iOS, and Android. Time travel here, Metacritic 72, OpenCritic 65. Peers for this release date, the sort of month after it came out, Persona 5. Just a tiny little release. Previous Game Club game, The Sexy Brutale. Current Wii roguelike it game, Flint Hook. Previous...
don't
play
Flint
Hook
into this episode, please.
Yeah. Previous Game Club game, and a game you 100% should play if you haven't played it. How dare you? What Remains of Edith Finch came out on the PS4. I just wanted to mention it so people can go play it. It's like 3 hours long. Just go play it.
It's still on Game Pass. Go play it now. If you haven't.
And Lawsuit, the video game, Friday the 13th, the game. Ask the question we ask every month: is this game top of the pile, middle of the pack, or overlooked?
Come on. Everybody ignored this game when it came out except for one person.
And that's you?
And that's me.
That's right.
Mostly because of my partner, if I'm completely honest, because it was their fault that we ended up getting into Wales Interactive and we own their full library and so on and so forth.
Right.
But yes, this game made my top 10 that year. So
yeah.
Nobody else talked about it.
The only top 10 on the internet.
From the Bamcast as well.
Oh, there you go.
So that puts me in questionable company.
All right, let's dive into what we liked, what we didn't like about Late Shift.
Let's go first.
I'll go first. Late Shift is cool as hell. I haven't played an FMV game in quite a while. I don't remember the last one I played. But I started this game and I was sort of like, ooh, all right, yeah, we got some cinematography, we got some. You guys had a good budget for this thing. This is pretty impressive. And then I was kind of just enjoying the movie, and then it asked me for a selection. I was like, oh, right, video game. Okay, yeah. Selecting stuff.
I was gonna say, because part of this game, part of one of the reasons why I kind of suggested this game was because I know that Boston, you are a huge visual novel enjoyer, entrepreneur, however you want to say
Aficionado.
it. That's the one. I'm pretty sure Musum likes them too, I believe.
Yeah, no, my wife and I love these types of games. Every time Netflix comes out with a new one, we'll play it. We played the crap out of Bandersnatch. We played Erica quite a bit. We played a few others I don't remember the names of, but we really enjoyed this style of game.
Yeah, and this was my third introduction to FMV games, I believe. And funnily enough, the other two were also, I played a Nightmare one on the PC that in the 90s, which just does not hold up at all.
Was it Phantasmagoria?
No, okay. It might have been that. It was probably a different one. It was, I don't know. It was one of the famous ones, but I played on the PC. I talked about the show how much I hate it. But having played in Wales Interactive's previous game, specifically The Bunker, which is a much more low-budget version of this game, it's basically two people, an old abandoned bunker, and a storyline to go along with it. It's literally as low budget as you can get. The quality is still great on it, but you can tell it's done on a shoestring kind of budget. The jump from that to this was something absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I it's not that I didn't think I'd enjoy this, but I don't think I've played an FMV game since some of the huge ones in the 90s, because they were received so poorly when they came out in the 90s that I think people were so afraid to do them, and the technology had such a hard time where it's like you don't really put an FMV game on the PlayStation 1 or the Saturn or even the PS2 because like no one wanted it and the video never looked that good. But now it's sort of like, oh, now we can make that. Like this game looks good, and it's not like, oh, we compress the hell out of a 1080p video. LOL, enjoy. It's like, no, this thing looked really solid.
Yeah, like they had like a real movie set for it, and like multiple people who could act, and like they could easily release this on Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
Like this is a distinct genre, like that is, I don't know when it started emerging, but it was like the last 5 or 6 years, right? That they started doing these choose your own adventure video ones. I think this is definitely one of the better ones. Like I don't know that I enjoyed it as much as like say Bandersnatch, but Bandersnatch is also a certain grade of weird that is probably just going to one up anything. Like
right.
Isn't Bandersnatch also by the Black Mirror folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's already got probably the biggest budget of any of these behind it, period.
10 times this budget.
Well, and they built that story in that one to be circular too. So like sometimes you'll be have restarted the game and not realize it. But this one, I think we played through it twice, and I meant to go through a third time because the first time I got what is likely the worst ending you can get, which is, I guess, spoilers. Like, we participated in the crime. We made most of the people that interacted with us mad. And then at the end, we thought we were saving the Asian lady. And instead, they had killed her and then killed us. Or no, they framed us, I think.
Oh, okay.
They either framed us or killed us with her death. I don't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I accidentally got the best ending in my first playthrough because I played this like laissez-faire, like, you want me to drive this car? Yeah, man, cool. Oh, you want me to go commit a crime? Yeah, sure, why not? You want me to bid on this thing? Hell yeah, let's bid on it. Choke this dude out? Yeah, he's getting choked. Let's do this. Like, I just like rolling at the punches the whole time, and it apparently ended up with I framed the actual bad guy by finding out his plan, and both of us got off scot-free. I think the only bad thing that happens is you get your thumbs crushed no matter what, but, you know.
There is a way around that.
Oh, all right. Interesting.
So, fun fact, because I've played this game like 9 times now, when you were in the hotel, after the
van blows up?
Yes. It's a van, Chinese restaurant, then hotel. If you break the window and then trust Mei Ling, she will throw the fake rice bowl that you have over the head of the gang, the Choi's coming after you.
Oh.
And then you just boogie on away. So like the hospital scene, I had Mei Ling with me. I had her with me like through 90% of the other scenes. I had her right there.
Oh, I'll have to go do that
before. That's great.
That's cool. Awesome. I'll have to go do that because it was kind of interesting because I liked them sort of holding this over your head where it's like, hey man, you wanna keep this lady alive? Like you need to go find the fake kind of fake bowl, the one we want. That was pretty cool.
It's kind of funny because like I watched the trailer before we started up this phone call just to get the game back in my head because like I immediately played it like after last.
Yeah, me too.
And I immediately was presented with a scene I'd never seen with the girl asking to borrow the Maserati, getting like tied up. I'm like,
yep.
Man, like my initial reaction to that girl with the Maserati was, no, what are you talking about? This is my job. You can't take a multi-million-dollar car. Or however much those things cost, like off. And then like our second playthrough, we thought, okay, we'll let her do that. And then like we saw the guy sneaking. We're like, oh no, we have to go investigate. Like
I see.
I chose too much of the same choice, and it wound up in the same scenario basically as last time.
Right.
But it's My second playthrough ended a lot earlier, but
I
don't
do
know.
want to I want to leverage one weird compliment to this game that I'm not sure. This is gonna sound really weird. I actually like the selection interface for this. Like that, it's really kind of the only interface in the game, but it is super clear about what your two choices are and how much time you have left. Like, sometimes you can get into like the Telltale games where they try and be too cute or too flowery about the decision that you're trying to make or whatever. And this one is very much like left or right. Here's how much time you have. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Like it's a weird thing to kind of say like the selection interface is good, but it was very
considering some
clear.
of the bonkers and stuff we've seen on like the Telltale games and other
Yep.
games along these lines, like sometimes that selection interface is hard to read.
Yep.
Sometimes it's too big, too small, too much information, and you're trying to parse out what each choice could mean in a time limit that does not allow you to do so. This is dead simple. It's like, this is a word. Obviously, we will extrapolate from this word what your decision is. And it's like 2 or 3 huge buttons, and it's just like, pick one.
Yeah, and they scaled it on Switch really nicely, so it's like these buttons like drive or don't drive in the bar, they were all big enough to read in handheld mode, but they weren't like half of the screen size. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
Gosh,
Yeah, pretty good.
that is a good point. Like I never felt like I was penalized. Like I never felt like I chose a choice and it wasn't what I was expecting in this game. And like comparing to another game I've been playing recently, Haven, which I like Haven a lot, but I never have like every choice Haven gives you, you can read seriously or sarcastically, and you don't know which one the game is going to do. Like it is just a roll of the dice. In this one, at least you have like 2 clear, distinct choices that you don't like. I mean, the closest that comes is, some of the choices you still wind up in a similar scenario afterwards in my 2 playthroughs, but
you never pick the option for like drive, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll drive the car. Oh yeah, I'd love to drive this car. And it's like, no, like he's just like, okay, I'll drive. Like they take it seriously.
Yeah. Like I think the very first decision they give you in the game where he's thinking to himself and you're allowed to, I don't remember what it specifically is, but it's along the lines of, do you believe in like altruistic people or not?
Yes,
and
like
if
selfish
you
or selfless.
do, he's like, no, that's BS.
Yeah.
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 And that's like the only one like that. And it's funny too, because I kept forgetting the kid was like really into math.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
they
he's
make
reading a game theory book and everything.
Yeah. Like the first half of the game movie thing, like you're aware of that. And the second half I kept forgetting. And I'm like, why are they making this about math oh, right.
Yeah. He's too busy like threatening somebody in a hospital room. Yeah. Looking through a bunch of reviews, I was pretty surprised seeing how many reviews rated it really poorly. Because it seemed like a lot of places played it through once and was like, yeah, it's like 45 minutes for all this, like $15. Like, what are you doing? Sort of missing the point.
Yep.
But I was surprised about how many outlets were like, boy, the writing is really bad. I was like, I feel like we played different games. Like, this isn't going to win any like super writing awards or anything, but it was competent and it was super clear about what was going on.
Yeah, and to be honest, the people, when they talk to each other, there's only maybe 2 or 3 lines in total I was listening to where it felt like that was clearly a red line. Everything else feels like natural conversation between the characters. Like, it was only once or twice it was just like, that felt a little bit like you just got that line and you had time for one take.
Yeah, like, you guys want to do like one more take on that one?
I mean, when you've got literally the same, like I said, like I didn't know until today that Mei Ling could be with you in the hospital and everything along those lines. So seeing the same scene I'd seen 9 times with all the different times I've played this game suddenly change, it's like,
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
just do the scene once, do it again, and then do it again with Mei Ling just to be safe for that
Yeah.
thing. So it's like it's shocking how many different variations there are, to be honest. And I do like the fact that like your first decision with the girl in the car park comes back to you later. Like
Hmm.
there is the chance to benefit or not benefit from the decision you made at the start.
Yeah, because like when I ran into her at the hospital, she's like, I told her she couldn't take the car at the beginning for obvious keeping my job reasons. Um, and she was like, "Oh, look who it is. The guy that wouldn't give me my car." And I was like, "Hey man, all right, look. This night has been real bad and like I don't look super good, so maybe you can kind of read the situation here and just let me in the room, please."
Um, if you give her the car and it's just you, um, the scene that Musin was talking about where like she is like tied up at the beginning,
Hmm.
depending on the choices you make, that at the start that can happen. And then obviously she escapes and you end up going anyway with the guy. But if you get to that point, you say yes, and then he gets to that point, you've freed her in one way or another, and then she just straight up tells you where the guy is at the hospital. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Um, like I cannot tell you he's in this hospital. I cannot tell you he's on the seventh floor, and I cannot tell you that he's in room 703.
Oh, wink.
Just, I didn't tell you anything,
Right.
and then just cruise on by.
Hmm.
So one scene I'm curious about, and I tried to do it on my second playthrough, and then I got too nervous, was the bidding scene. And on my second playthrough, Mei Ling, is that her name?
Yes, Mei Ling is the young lady.
Okay. And I let her like gamble like way high, but
Yep.
she just kept going. And at some
Yep.
point, I'm like, okay, I have to stop. And,
Yeah, me too.
like, what happens if you don't ever stop her? Like, have you done that, Moon?
If you don't ever stop her, you can get an achievement for it, because she keeps going until it gets to like I think it's like 12,500,000
Oh,
is the highest
jeez.
it gets.
Wow.
But then like you can see all of the choice sitting there, including like the guy who does the torturing later on and the second in command younger fella,
Hmm.
just sitting there. They just turn around and stare at the pair of you. And then it gets to the point where she's about to bid again, and then even without a choice, he just puts his hand over hers and is like, "This is enough. Stop.
I think I got to
Don't
that
go
point.
any further."
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, man, she's not gonna win. These other guys really want it, so let's go crazy. Let's bleed them dry here a little bit.
So, did you guys put the plan together beforehand or afterwards? The whole Samuel Parr's plan, that is.
It took me a real long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I only truly understood the depth of the plan today, and
Mm,
that says something.
yeah,
Because I think he hired Jeff to do the job, but Jeff was under the instructions to tell everybody they were doing it for Mr. Boy of the Chinese takeout place,
yeah,
because he knows that the Choi's are going to come back on anybody who's involved with this, whereas Jeff can get away with it, and so can Samuel if everybody thinks it's them who are involved.
right.
And because of the scenes I discovered today with Mei Ling, I don't know if
She's
you guys
in on it,
noticed.
right?
She's in on Samuel's plan, but Samuel tells her that he wants a replica because he doesn't want to sell the real thing. But when he does sell the real thing, he just wants something to keep as like because he doesn't really want to let go of it. So he's
Mhm.
saying, "I'm going to keep the copy and sell the real thing."
Oh,
When
right.
in actuality, he's going to swap them out for the thing. And they go through this whole explanation of like phototelethesis or something like that, which is how you age porcelain, how you figure out exactly when it was killed, essentially.
Right.
And that process is ruined by putting it in a fire.
Mm,
So the whole plan was to then have Jeff and everybody steal the fake, get ran off the road because it was Pa who ran them off the road, not the Choi's, as originally suspected. The fake is in the car crash by being set on fire in the car explosion. It cannot be correctly aged anymore because it's just going to say it was last time it was killed was today.
gotcha.
So the fake can't be proved as a fake anymore, and he gets to
Jeez.
keep the real thing.
Way deeper than I thought.
Wow.
I literally only put that together today, and I
Wow.
only put it together because of the additional scenes that I got with Mei-Ling.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had no idea about that latter part.
Yeah, I don't think I
Neither
ran
did I.
into that. Yeah.
It's so
That's
good.
cool.
Like, it's so many paths and so many choices you can make that everything changes everything else, and it's the diamond storytelling thing. It's short beginning, many choices in the middle, and then towards the end everything converges back to a point. But I actually feel like this game does a great thing in the point being relatively not straight a point, because there's like 5 or 6 different paths you can take, like different ways you can end the game with different people, different decisions made, whether or not you accept Samuel Parr's bribe, if you try and
Right.
tell the choice about Parr's involvement. There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
180 to be exact.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this game a lot.
I do too. I was surprised at how much I like it enough that I'm sort of like, all right, Wales Interactive, what else you got? Like, what are we checking out the rest of your catalog here?
You guys should also put Erica on your list too, by the way.
I've always meant to play Erica because I've heard it's really, really good. Yeah.
There was one huge negative thing about this game for me personally. And it's something that Boston and Newsom, you'll be used to because you are visual novel readers and they solved this problem decades ago, apparently. No fast forward.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've seen this, so I have to.
Yep.
I can just skip forward.
Yeah.
The fun thing is the Complex, which is a game they released in 2020, in March 2020. Unfortunately, I've mentioned this before. It came out real early 2020, and it's a game about a virus. So, content warning on that one, I guess.
Right.
But in the Complex, they have included the ability to just hit right bumper, and you fast forward through everything you've seen until you get like the scene before you have to make a choice.
Oh,
So
nice. Smart.
They have started bringing that visual novel stuff into the newer games.
That's great.
Yeah, I would like a decision tracker and just the modern, like, this is what I've did last time, this is what I still have yet to do kind of trackers that some of them come with and things like that. But
you want like the virtues last reward flow chart where it's like, all right, I made this choice and I went down that one, but if I make a different choice down here, I have this whole like arm of the flow chart that I haven't seen yet. So I'm gonna start aiming towards that.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts here about Late Shift?
Really good. You should go play it. And you can get it for cheap.
It's only like $5 and takes 2 hours to play. Like I mean, why not?
Yeah, I liked it way more than I thought I would.
You have wasted more money on a fast food meal you didn't like.
That's right.
Yes. To be honest, you could usually pick up their games in bundles as well. So
yeah.
Ideally, if you can get the Bunker, Late Shift, and Complex, is their 3 main things that I can say are really good. If you can get them in a bundle, knock yourself out. Like, they are genuinely great games. The Complex is... You think the budget in this one was good, Boston? The Complex budget is so much bigger.
Oh, man. That's exciting. I'll have to check that out.
I also feel like, even though you don't have necessarily time on all of the decisions to discuss as a group, like, they're really good games to play with other people.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Just have a bunch of people, they're like, no, don't do it. They're evil.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, just I'll play the first 30 minutes, you play the next 30 minutes or something like that, and you discuss what you can and try to morally align where you can. But it's always it's fun to see where things wind up,
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our next game. This one is recommended by Musum over here, The Bard's Tale, the 2004 release. Came out kind of for everything, all the way back to PS2 and the original Xbox. They did remaster this and kind of put it out recently called The Bard's Tale ARPG Remastered and Resnarkled, which is on Game Pass. So you can snag that. It's not the Bard's Tale trilogy that's on Game Pass. That is a different set of games. But you're looking for the Bard's Tale ARPG. How long to beat says it's probably about 15 to 18 hours here for standard playthrough. and we'll see what we think about that next month. Thank you very much,
Yep.
everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next month. Bye.
Hi, guys.
Bye.